reasonable act almost got you expelled. My dog suddenly started convulsing and foaming at the mouth, but when I tried to leave the college apartment building, the security guard blocked the door. No one leaves after 11 p.m. without management approval. Please, I begged, hugging the dog to my chest. My dog is dying. The guard pointed to the sign posted at the door. Strict curfew 11 p.m. If I let you through those doors now, then everyone else will want the same. Rules are there for a reason. I sobbed harder, asking him to call the manager. Submit an emergency request through the portal. But the typical request took 30 minutes for approval, and tonight the manager was out until 7 a.m. The guard shrugged, arms crossed over his chest. Then you wait. But my dog's seizures were worsening by the minute. He started choking on his own vomit. His whining sounded weaker. Other students gathered in the lobby, frozen in horror at what they were seeing. A girl from down the hall started crying. You're really going to let the dog die? The resident assistant ran down to help handle the situation. Let them go already. Jesus Christ. The guard looked her up and down. You don't have authority here. The resident assistant tried calling 911, but the operator only apologized, saying they don't respond for pets. The guard stood up. Anyone helps, you're all expelled. Then he called for campus police backup. My dog's breathing became ragged. His gums were turning white, each limb now more limp. My arms and legs shook from panic, watching my dog slowly die in my own arms. One student dropped to her knees beside me. This is murder. The guard was completely unmoved. No, it's policy. For your safety. The guard moved to physically block the door, his hand resting on his pepper spray. Now, if you don't get back to your rooms, you're all getting expelled from the university. I looked down at my dying dog and then back at this man who was willing to let him die over a curfew rule, and I made a split decision. I stood up with my limp dog in my arms and glared at him. Move, or I'll make you. He smirked. Well, honey, I'd like to see you try. I bent my head down and used my shoulder to jab at him, but he fought back. For the dog! Everyone screamed before running towards the guard to push and pull at his limbs and remove him from the door. Everyone cheered the moment I sprinted past him towards my car. Hang on, kisses! We're almost there, I said to my dog. I drove to the emergency vet going twice the speed limit, and the vet team rushed my dog into surgery immediately. I sat in the waiting room, absolutely in shambles over the entire thing. My dog might not live, and now I'm gonna be homeless and kicked out of college. What a nightmare. The vet came out after treatment looking serious. 10 more minutes and organ failure would have been irreversible. She showed me the toxicology report. Extremely high levels of rat poison in his blood. Your dog would have died in that lobby. Then it hit me. I'd seen pest control trucks at our building that morning and used bait stations in the courtyard where we walk our dogs. So I told her everything. The pest control, the apartment policy, the security guard. She furrowed her eyebrows. Wait, they physically stopped you from leaving? That sounds like false imprisonment. And pest control using that concentration near pets? That's negligence. She handed me a copy of my dog's file and lab results. I'm not a lawyer, but you might want to find one. I went back to the apartment completely exhausted and worn out. But the moment I stepped into the lobby, I panicked. 12 students were still standing around, crying while campus officers threw their belongings across the floor of the lobby. Clothes, laptops, textbooks, everything. It looked like a SWAT raid rather than a campus apartment. The guard smirked while he handed each student a letter of expulsion. One girl cried about her scholarship. The others were already calling their parents to deliver the bad news. I dug my fingernails into my palm. These people stood up for him. Now it's my turn. I pulled out my phone, snuck a few pics, and sent it to a good friend from the College of Law on the campus. Within an hour, law students and their dean arrived. And along with the toxicology report and vet statement, oh boy, they were doomed beyond belief. You're illegally evicting 12 students without due process for saving a dying animal. A dying animal you poisoned with illegal levels of poison, the law dean asked. The apartment manager came out at exactly 7 a.m., right on schedule. They assaulted security. To prevent a death, the law dean corrected. And you're violating federal housing law, state tenant rights, and university conduct policies. These evictions are illegal. More students flooded the lobby, voicing their complaints while the manager looked more frantic. The student government president arrived with university administration and saw the belongings everywhere. What the heck is happening here? The guard finally looked less smug. I was enforcing policy, sir. A policy that's about to cost the university millions, the law dean said. The manager's face went white. The guard slowly sat back down, no longer meeting anyone's eyes. The university terminated the management company within 2 days. All 12 students were reinstated with formal apologies. The guard got fired and arrested. The company paid my $8,000 vet bill and compensated every wrongly evicted student. The state attorney general declared adult curfews illegal statewide. Best part, Kiss is fully recovered and is still my best friend.